Hello everybody, this is Freddy from Turn Vertical, and in this video I want to go over the top 10 mistakes that I see people do with their Facebook ads. So yeah, I would say let's get right into it. First things first is a complicated account structure. You know, with Facebook ads, you want to have your budget in as little places as possible, and that means kind of combining your budget into into as little, as few campaigns as possible. Ideally, I have accounts running. I will go over that in a separate video and show you the account structure for that. But I have accounts running that are spending like 10K per day, and they have two campaigns running. There's one scaling campaign and one testing campaign. No more retargeting. If you want to know about retargeting, I have a separate video about that, which I'll link right here. But yeah, probably, if you're spending anywhere from like 1,000, like let's say 500 to 1,000, you might have only one campaign running. If you're testing a lot, two campaigns, one scaling, one testing, that's usually the account structure that I'm running with all accounts. Whether you're spending 500, 5K, 10K, whatever. But yeah, that's the number one thing, complicated account structure. Also, these aren't in any particular order, so number one isn't necessarily the most meaningful one. They each and every one of them has a meaning. If you change these, then you will be better. But yeah, number two, testing with too little budget. I oftentimes see people, running like $10 ad sets for like 3 days, and at $30, they turn off an ad. What the fuck are you doing? Give Facebook some time. Give Facebook some time to give you some impressions, and then Facebook can determine whether an ad is good or not, right? Keep your ads running. I don't have like a set amount, but usually how I test is 5 to 10 times target CPA. So if my target is, let's say $25, I want to get a purchase for $25, and I'd run till like 125 to 250 at the very least, usually more. Don't just turn off ads after like $30 in ad spend or like $10 in ad spend. Keep them running like 1, 2, 3. Invest a little bit. Get to know your numbers. Especially if you're just starting out. Get some data. Give Facebook some room to breathe. Number 3, relying on one type of creative. I see this on a regular basis where people just have, for example, image ads running, and like one type of image ad, or like only video ads running. What I recommend is, have a variety of different creatives. This could be, for example, UGC video, benefit video, press image, plain product image. There's a whole lot different types of creatives, and every person on Facebook reacts to different kinds of creatives. Some people only react to images, for example, and some people only react to videos. So if you now only run images, you're not reaching those people who react to videos. So it's super important you have a broad spectrum of creatives that you're running at any given time. And if you only have image ads running right now or video ads, I highly suggest you test some image ads or video ads. Then number 4, not testing landing pages. Keep in mind that the click on Facebook, only sells a person to the website. The purpose of your ad is not to sell the product. It's the landing page's job to sell the product. So if you, for example, have a good click-through rate and all that kind of stuff, but you're not getting any sales. Usually this means, either you're having a fucked up ad, which, is just basically a scammy ad, or your landing page and your ad are not congruent. So make sure your landing page and ad is congruent. And, even if you do have a, decent conversion rate, I highly recommend you test landing pages and invest into landing pages because they're super relevant. If you can increase your conversion rate by, let's say, 20%, and you have the same Facebook ad set, your ads will likely improve, beyond what you would expect. Then number 5, I see this mostly with beginners, but it's like too many day-to-day changes, especially since iOS 14.5, which I know is out for quite some time now, but especially since then, do less intraday changes. How I do it, every given day, at 12 a.m., I'll look into the account, or like, each morning when I wake up, I look into the account, I see, okay, how was my last 7 days performance, last 3 days performance, like last 14 days, and yesterday's performance. And if my last 7-day trend usually is up, like my last 3-day trend is up, I'll be like, okay, this is fine, I'm not doing any changes. Even if, for example, you had a bad day yesterday, it does not mean that you have to do changes, Facebook ads are not like steady, they are day-to-day changes. But this does not mean that you have to do intraday changes like, oh, my ROAS at 10 a.m. was super bad, I'm going to turn off my campaign and relaunch and blah, blah, blah. Stop doing that, you know? If your ads over like a trend period, let's say 7 days, are up or like are equal, or you spend more, your ROAS is the same, CPA is the same, and yesterday was bad, stop doing changes, you know? Your trend is up, you know, keep looking at trends versus day-to-day changes. Number six, no clear goals. You know, with Facebook ads, with everything that you do within your account, there needs to be a goal behind it. And, you know, it's not just, you know, I want a 3x ROAS. You know, that's, you know, one goal to have. But, you know, a goal could also be, okay, our current ROAS is, let's say, 3, or our current CPA is $20, and we're spending 1,000 per day. We want to get to 2,000 per day and keep our CPA at $20, right? Not every goal has to be like decreasing, you know, your CPA. It could also be, okay, we have a great UGC video, but what if you can find a better UGC video? Or, you know, we don't have any image ads running. Now we want to find an image ad that is performing, that we can put into a scanning campaign, right? There are so many goals. Many of them are not clear, or you know, many people don't set clear goals. And with every change that you do within your ad account, you know, whether that's like launching a new ad set, whether that's launching a new ad, whether it's increasing the budget, there should be a clear goal behind it, you know? Now, spending more is great, but what's the goal behind it? You know, making more revenue, of course, in most instances. But, you know, write that down. Our goal is to make, I don't know, like, we double our budget and our goal is to make 1.7x more revenue, whatever. Like, write it down, you know, have clear goals. And if you have clear goals, your day-to-day actions or like your week-over-week actions of what you want to do within your Facebook account are becoming way clearer. Number 7, relying on Ads Manager results. This one might be a bit controversial because obviously also third-party tracking data is not the most accurate, but I tend not to look very much at the Ads Manager results because I look at the overall store results, especially if I'm working with stores. You know, let's say you are in your store and you only have one traffic source, and that is your Facebook ads. And if you do a change within Facebook ads, and your ROAS goes up by like 50%, and nothing else has changed, just, you know, that one change within your Facebook ads, and Facebook reports still the same ROAS, then you can be quite sure that, you know, that change within, you know, ROAS on your store came from the Facebook ads change, even though Facebook is not, you know, kind of showing that the change. So, you know, don't rely only on the in-platform metrics, you know, especially if you have one traffic source only. You know, if you have multiple, even if you have multiple, you know, traffic sources and you do one major, for example, let's say your revenue is like 10K per day, right? And you're spending 5K overall on paid media, you know, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat ads, whatever. And then you double your Facebook ad chain, you double your Facebook ads, and, you know, you're making way more revenue. You're making like 30% more revenue. Then you can be quite sure that that revenue change came within Facebook. Even if Facebook is not showing you the ROAS, you can be quite sure that that, you know, change is coming from Facebook. And of course, they're like third-party pixels. You know, you can do UTM tagging, whatever. That's all up to you. I'm just saying, you know, don't rely only on the in-platform metrics. Then number 8, you know, no real testing concept. I see this over and over again. What is the goal that you want to achieve with your test, right? Track that stuff, you know, within, like, for example, Google Sheets, you know, have a Google Data Studio, whatever, where you track all of the stuff that you do. You know, if, for example, you are someone you just blindly test creatives, you know, there is no aim behind that. Usually how to do creative tests, I have a separate video about that as well. You know, number 1, creative, like, angle, you know, why do people want to buy from this site, and then creative type, you know, image, video, price image, testimonial image, etc., etc. And then I track that, and then I see a pattern. Okay, like angle number 1 is working the best, you know, okay, how can I maybe get angle 2 to work, or how can I improve angle 1, you know, is it maybe I launch a press image, and, or like a testimonial image, and that's how I do, you know, testing, especially creative testing. It's super important that you have like a concept behind it, like a tracking sheet, and you know what you want to do. And again, if you don't know what to do in your creative testing, or you don't know what to do, watch that video. And then number 9, focusing on the wrong metrics. This is probably, I see this from like so many YouTubers out there. You know, they say focus on CPM, focus on CTR. It's all irrelevant. Like, the only thing that really matters, like if you're like a D2C brand that's up to, you know, that's wants purchases. The only thing that matters, it's not even your ROAS, it's like your CPA. How much am I paying to get a customer in, you know? The AOV might be slightly, fluctuant. Some days you're getting like 50s AOV, some days 55, some days maybe 60s. But the only thing that's really important is your CPA. Like, what am I paying to get ideally a new customer into my business? And nothing else matters. Now, if you're scaling, if you're doing changes within Facebook, your new customer growth drops, but your CTR goes down within Facebook. Nobody cares what your CTR is, as long as your new customer CPA, for example, if that's your number one key metric, goes down. Nobody cares about CPM, CTR, hold rate, stop rate. They all, like hold rate, stop rate, they all have something to say in a certain way. And you can definitely use, for example, the stop rate to improve your creatives. I'm not saying that these metrics are irrelevant, but the only thing that really matters in the end is your CPA. And CPM is irrelevant, hold rate is irrelevant in that case. You could have a great, and you could have an ad with a great stop rate and like a low CPA or like a high CPA, 70% stop rate, high CPA. It doesn't matter if your stop rate is 70%, but you have a high CPA, right? You have like a 10% stop rate, but like a super low CPA, and then you're happy, right? That's all that matters, is the CPA in the end. And then number 10 is not using broad. I want you to start using broad today. We use it in all of our accounts to like 100%. We do testing in broad, we do scaling in broad. We're not using any lookalikes, we're not using any retargeting, we're not using any interest stacks bullshit. None of that. Use broad. It's simply the best. Facebook can optimize the best, especially with the new Advantage Plus. You don't even have a targeting option anymore. There's just Advantage Plus. Yeah, those were the top 10 things which I think people do wrong all of the time. Just very quickly, I'm going to sum this up. Complicated account structure, testing with too little budget, relying on one type of creative, not testing landing pages, too many day-to-day changes, no clear goals, relying on ads manager results, no real testing concept, focusing on wrong metrics, and not using broad. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon in the next video.